I was bringing some documents to my husband when I opened the office door and saw him whispering intimately with the new intern. Their faces were flushed, sweat beaded on their brows. They clearly looked like they had been caught in the act. The intern frantically explained, "Grace, Liam was just helping me put on my coat because my hands were full. Please don't misunderstand. Why bother explaining anything to her? I'll help anyone I want to with their coat." My husband smoothed out the wrinkles in the intern's pantyhose, and the look he gave me was full of disgust. "You walk in without knocking. Don't you have any manners?" I let out a self-deprecating laugh and slowly nodded. "My apologies, I seem to have interrupted." I turned and tossed the 5th wedding anniversary gift into the trash, then notified my lawyer, "Prepare the divorce papers for me." The moment I pushed open the door, I saw my husband, Liam intern Chloe's backside with a smug look on his face. Though they quickly separated, seeing their satiated expressions and the 3 wrongly buttoned buttons on Liam's white shirt, what else was there to guess? Chloe hypocritically tried to explain, "Grace, Liam was just helping me put on my coat because my hands were full." "You absolutely must not misunderstand. Hands full?" I nodded. Indeed, they weren't exactly convenient. His hand had only reluctantly withdrawn from under Chloe's short skirt after I entered, leaving a wet sheen on it. What he had been doing was glaringly obvious. Expressionless, I placed the documents on Liam's desk, only to hear Liam's disgusted shouts, "Chloe, why are you explaining anything to her? I'll help anyone I want to with their coat." He stroked the torn pantyhose on Chloe's knee, looking at me with disdain. "Do you really think the company is your own home? Walking in without knocking, do you have any manners?" I felt my breath catch, the air so thin I couldn't breathe. How did things between us turn out like this? I still remembered when the company was just starting. Liam had embraced me with excitement and joy, saying, "Grace, from now on, this will be our second home. You and I, will thrive together." Later, as the company grew, to solidify Liam's authority, I even knocked before entering his office. Back then, he said, "Grace, we're husband and wife, you're being too formal. Don't knock anymore, I don't want to grow distant from you." Now, he shunned me like the plague, saying I had no manners. I bit my lip, suppressing the sting in my eyes, and offered a self-deprecating smile. Then I slowly nodded and said to Liam, "My apologies, I seem to have interrupted." I was about to leave when Chloe leisurely spoke up, "Grace, please close the door on your way out. Liam and I aren't finished talking yet." I frowned and glared at her, but Liam stood in front of her and yelled at me, "Chloe told you to close the door, didn't you hear her? Are you deaf now that you're old?" Seeing his impatient expression, I smiled. "All right, I'll close the door, but please keep your voices down so you don't disturb the employees working outside." The moment my words fell, Chloe immediately put on a wronged expression. "Grace, what do you mean by that? Liam and I are just discussing business." Liam was even more infuriated, demanding, "Grace, why are your thoughts so filthy? What else do you do all day besides being so petty and jealous?" I shook my head with a bitter smile, my heart feeling as if it had been ripped open, cold air rushing in. Liam spat at me. "Chloe is pure-hearted, unlike some people who act like a princess at the company all day." Chloe leaned triumphantly into Liam's arms, whining playfully to him, "Liam, don't get angry with Grace because of me. I feel bad. How about we just end it today and talk another time?" "No." Liam quickly wrapped his arm around Chloe's waist. With the big movement, his suit pants became visible, stained with a layer of dried white spots that stung my eyes. The two of them seemed oblivious. Liam continued to coldly dismiss me. "Look at your disgraceful behavior. Do you have to drive everyone around me away to satisfy your malicious intentions? Grace, you even have to make me sick just by delivering documents. Now get out." I glanced at the two of them, swallowed the bitterness in my mouth, and quickly left. But the moment I closed the office door, my heart ached intensely, the pain spreading throughout my body, making it impossible to stand straight or breathe. A kind employee tried to approach me, but I could only wave him off and tell him to continue his work. Just as the door closed, I heard Chloe shriek from inside the office, gently, "Liam, you always tear my pantyhose. You're so annoying. 10 years acquainted, 5 years married. We accompanied each other from nothing to a publicly listed company. Why is he treating me like this now?" I returned home in a daze. On the dining table sat a cake and the 5th wedding anniversary gift I was going to give him. I paused for a long time, then threw both the cake and the gift into the trash. I took one last look at our marital home, which I had spent 2 weeks designing day and night, then sent a message to my lawyer, "Prepare the divorce papers for me." That night, Liam didn't come home. But the next morning, I saw a social media post from Chloe. On a pristine white sheet, Two hands were clasped together, with the caption, "Tonight, you belong to me, and I belong to you." I stared blankly at my phone until I tasted bitterness, realizing that tears had unknowingly streamed down my face. At that moment, I was certain, Liam and I were truly over. With a sense of release, I commented, "Congratulations to you both. May your happiness last forever." Less than a minute later, Liam called, "Grace, are you finished or not? Chloe was maliciously slandered by you and went out drinking, heartbroken. I just took her back to the hotel to rest." "What's the meaning of your comment?" "I'm warning you, apologize to her immediately." Through the phone, I heard the rustling of blankets, followed by Chloe's timid persuasion, "Liam, Grace just cares about you too much and overthinks things. Don't be angry, I don't mind." I was so angry I laughed, no longer listening to her insincere words, and hung up the phone directly. Worried they would call to harass me again, I simply turned off my phone. Ever since Chloe started her internship at the company 6 months ago, whenever there was an issue between her and me, Liam would always side with Chloe. At first, Liam would grandiosely say, "You're my wife, of course I trust you the most. It's normal for her to be new to society and not understand anything. Besides, you know me, I dislike those delicate young girls the most." But later, similar incidents became more frequent, and he explicitly stated, "What's wrong with me promoting new talent? I just think highly of Chloe. Signing the wrong contract isn't a big deal. Can't you just tolerate it?" His blatant favoritism always led to me humbly apologizing to both of them at the end of every dispute, swallowing all my grievances. What pained me even more was half a month ago, I returned early from a business trip and specifically bought a huge bouquet of roses, hoping to mend the cracks in our relationship caused by Chloe. But when I quietly returned home, I saw the two of them emerge from the home office, their clothes disheveled. Through the partially open door, I saw a torn pantyhose draped over his executive chair, where he usually worked. What had happened was obvious. The home office was his forbidden zone. He always said secret company documents were kept inside and worried I'd mess things up, so he never allowed me in. But, an intern, could be brought home and into his home office. The roses in my hand slipped, scattering across the floor. I wanted to confront them, but I didn't know where to begin. Chloe saw my disappointed gaze but seemed nonchalant. "Like an outsider, Grace, don't overthink it. I just came to drop off some documents." My thigh just cramped up, and Liam helped me massage it. After 7 years together, I really didn't want to argue over a misunderstanding. But did twisting her thigh require taking off her pantyhose for a massage? I wanted to clarify, but Liam's gaze was so calm, as if my further questions would be unreasonable. Afterward, I subtly suggested to Liam that Chloe was overstepping. To my surprise, he angrily yelled at me, "Grace, Chloe was just diligently delivering documents, and in your mouth, we're sneaking around? Do you think I only think with lust? Our simple superior-subordinate relationship is being thought of as so filthy by you." I couldn't help but retort, "Simple? Tell me, does a twisted thigh require removing pantyhose for treatment? If I hadn't come back, you would have removed more than just her pantyhose." Liam completely exploded. He slapped me hard, accusing me of not trusting him. That day was our most intense argument in 7 years. The very next day, as if to provoke me, Chloe went from a bottom-tier intern to his exclusive intern. Before the divorce papers even arrived, Liam stormed through the door, his face full of anger. The moment he saw me, he pointed at my nose and began to question me. "Are you blind or deaf? Why didn't you answer any of my calls? Do you still think you're perfectly in the right?" I remained silent, looking at the dense red marks on his collar. He, however, thought I was guilty and scoffed, sitting on the couch. "I'm telling you, today you must go apologize to Chloe. You're using the fact that you're my wife to slander her and spread rumors. Do you know how upset Chloe was crying last night? If doesn't forgive you, I won't forgive you either." I nodded indifferently. "Then don't." Liam's face instantly darkened. "Grace, what do you mean? Have I been too nice to you?" I didn't even look at him, just lightly chuckled. "No. I've been too nice to you. Liam, let's get a divorce." He looked incredulous, but after only a brief, he scoffed. "Divorce? I didn't mishear, did I, Grace? Are you sure you want to divorce me?" I took a deep breath and looked back at him firmly. "I'm sure. Let's not waste each other's time. The divorce papers will arrive soon, sign them quickly." Perhaps it was my calm demeanor, but Liam's gaze became unexpectedly serious. "Divorce papers? You arranged this behind my back? Are you really going to divorce me? Grace, have you thought this through?" I looked at him expressionlessly and countered, "I've thought it through for a long time. Isn't this what you wanted?" I'll step down early, make room for Chloe, and let you have a harmonious relationship, legally married. Liam laughed twice after hearing this, looking at me with mockery. I knew divorce was just your way of getting my attention. The papers are probably something you made up, too, aren't they? I already told you she drank too much last night, and I just took her to the hotel to rest. But you, without any investigation, immediately threatened divorce. Grace, I never realized you were so petty. I looked at his disdainful expression, closed my eyes, and sighed. Say whatever you want. We will divorce today. Seeing my resolute attitude, Liam's face turned cold again. He gritted his teeth, about to speak, when the front door opened. Liam, Grace, may I come in? Both of us froze. But then I thought, maybe Chloe's timing was perfect. Perhaps if she stirred the pot a bit, Liam would finally sign the papers for her sake. So I actively got up and opened the door for Chloe, just about to tell her that Liam and I were getting a divorce. Unexpectedly, Chloe only glanced at Liam behind me, then suddenly leaned close to my ear. In a voice only we two could hear, she whispered, Grace, your husband really satisfied me last night. Chloe's vulgar and disgusting words echoed in my mind, like a heavy hammer, making me dizzy. In that moment, I seemed to lose all rationality. Almost instinctively, I slapped her with all my might. Liam behind me roared, Grace, are you crazy? Chloe fell to the ground, blood seeping from her lips. I saw her smile sinisterly, but when Liam helped her up, she put on a pitiful act. I knew Grace must have misunderstood us. I specifically came to apologize. Liam, don't blame Grace for hitting me. After saying that, she showed a bewildered expression, shed 2 tears, and sobbed in Liam's arms. Liam, I hurt so much. Liam was heartbroken, holding her protectively in his embrace and loudly cursing me. Grace, I've had enough of you, you lunatic. You actually hit someone. What did Chloe do wrong? We've explained things nicely, and you won't listen, will you? Fine, you want a divorce? I'll grant it to you. After the divorce, even if you beg and plead on your knees, I won't come back. I clenched my fists tightly, looking at Liam as if he were a stupid pig. This man still hasn't realized that the pure-hearted naive college girl he keeps praising has played him for a fool. Chloe's eyes lit up when she heard divorce, but she quickly pouted and tugged on Liam's sleeve. Liam, I just want you two to resolve your misunderstanding. Don't divorce because of me. I don't want to be the villain who caused your divorce. Liam tenderly wiped the blood from her lip. Chloe, it has nothing to do with you. She's just consumed by jealousy. Now, looking at her just disgusts me. I sighed lightly, then nodded with a cold smile. Tomorrow, I'll bring the divorce papers to the county clerk's office. Make sure you're there on time. Liam's movements faltered, a flicker of hesitation crossing his face. He seemed surprised that I hadn't confessed my mistake, but instead had gone along with the divorce. After all, before, I would always obediently apologize to both of them whenever he got angry due to his favoritism towards Chloe. Liam, refusing to believe it, continued, Grace, you need to know, you don't have any shares in the company. If you divorce, you'll get nothing. You'll leave with nothing. I nodded indifferently. I know. I didn't care anymore. As long as I could divorce, leave Liam, and escape everything that made me sad, I didn't care if I left with nothing. Thinking of my freedom, I took a deep breath and walked past them without looking back. I heard Chloe's affected voice behind me. Liam, you still have me. I'll never leave you. Chloe, you're so good. After I left, I drove aimlessly around the city, and somehow ended up at the university campus where I used to study. Looking at the familiar campus, long-buried memories suddenly surfaced. Liam was my first love. At the university, he was a handsome, academically excellent, and seemingly aloof campus heartthrob. Many girls in our class sent him love letters, but he rejected every single one. I knew I was ordinary. Besides being decent at academics, there was nothing about me that would attract his attention, so I decided to bury my feelings deep inside. But unexpectedly, fate had intertwined Liam and my destinies. During a group project, he suddenly invited me to be his team member. At the time, I was incredulous and stammered, asking Liam why he chose me. He thought for a moment, then tilted his head and told me, probably because you were the only girl who didn't give me a love letter. In that moment, my heart fluttered uncontrollably, afraid he would see the irrepressible love buried beneath my insecurity. After that, we became permanent partners for every group project. A subtle, ambiguous affection warmed between us. We naturally got together, becoming the campus gossip board's most envied couple. We even registered our marriage a year after graduation, making all the younger students envious. At that time, I held 4 patents and, fresh out of college, was highly sought after by numerous top-tier companies. My supervising professor even suggested I establish a lab to continue achieving groundbreaking success for the country. But for Liam, I turned down every offer. I was willing to move into a tiny studio apartment for his entrepreneurial dream. Every day, we'd share a bowl of instant ramen, tirelessly running around day and night for his small studio. But all those beautiful memories have now become like moonlight on water, like fine sand in my hands. Before I could even grasp them, they had scattered. Sometimes, late at night, I would toss and turn, unable to understand when Liam's gaze stopped being tender and became filled with hatred. We had promised vows of eternal love, that we would never let go of each other's hands, even when we were crammed in that tiny studio apartment, holding each other tight. I used to blame everything on Chloe, naively thinking it was all her fault. That had seduced Liam. Because was only in her 20s, she was young, vibrant, and even better at pleasing Liam than I was. I also considered that what truly bothered me wasn't Chloe repeatedly getting close to Liam. It was Liam's repeated tacit approval. And how, every time he faced a choice between Chloe and me, he would Chloe. Liam seemed to have withdrawn his love from me and poured it all into Chloe. And I became a dumping ground for all his negative emotions, receiving nothing but coldness and neglect. But today, seeing this familiar place, I understood. I truly found peace. I was not wrong, and it wasn't Chloe's problem either. It was Liam. He was no longer the boy who harbored infinite hopes with me in that tiny studio apartment. The who loved me has completely died in my memories. I chuckled softly and called the brand partner I had frequently collaborated with. The phone quickly connected. Grace. So you've finally come around? I sighed and replied, only you have been persistently trying to recruit me all these years. The person on the other end laughed twice, then spoke seriously, Mr. Liam is willing to let you go? My expression was indifferent, we're getting a divorce. After that, we'll go our separate ways. The person clicked their tongue twice, that man has no taste. Don't worry, Grace, I've kept your position open for you. Come join us, and we'll be bosses together. The next day, I waited as agreed at the county clerk's office. Instead of Liam, I received a message from Chloe, Grace, Liam might be a bit late. Today's my official promotion, and Liam is holding a promotion party for me at the company. He said he'd make it before the county clerk's office closes, so please don't leave. Along with the message came several pictures. Company employees, big and small, raised their glasses. Chloe and Liam sat in the middle, countless confetti and balloons raining down on them. It looked lively and festive. I was utterly speechless, finding it absurd. Choosing today for her promotion, they were hell-bent on tormenting me before the divorce. But why should I put up with it? Wasn't my time valuable? Another company begged and pleaded for me to be their boss. Why should I waste my time on this scum of a man and his other woman? This divorce must happen today, and I want it now. Having made up my mind, I drove straight to the company. The moment my figure appeared, the warm atmosphere within the company instantly chilled. Everyone's gaze kept darting between me, Liam, and Chloe. Chloe's hand was restlessly stroking Liam's knee, and she smiled provocatively at me. Grace, you've come at the perfect time. Today's my promotion, and I have you to thank for your guidance. I want to toast you, to thank you for helping me improve so I could stay at the company. The redness on her cheek hadn't faded, and with her lips curved, she looked particularly comical. Chloe seemed determined to assert her dominance, downing a large glass of beer in one gulp. I've finished mine, please do me the honor, Grace, and finish yours too. I stood my ground, not showing the slightest inclination to respond. Liam, however, was not pleased. He stood up and glared at me. It's Chloe's promotion today. You don't even offer a single congratulation, and you're giving everyone the cold shoulder? I calmly looked at him. Don't forget what's supposed to happen today. Do I need to remind you in front of everyone? Liam's face changed, and he quickly walked over to me, lowering his voice. Grace, you wouldn't dare? If you say we're divorcing in public, what will others think of Chloe? What if she's called the other woman? He was already so eager to protect her. I sneered. Isn't she the other woman? Liam's eyes narrowed, and he suddenly slapped me. Grace, watch your language. The surroundings instantly fell silent. No one dared to breathe loudly. In the vast company, all the employees were silent as mice. Chloe jumped out, feigning kindness. I know Grace is still upset with me because of the previous misunderstanding, but Liam, don't be angry anymore. Grace must know she was wrong now, and I don't mind. Come on, Grace, drink this glass, and we can start over. I wiped the blood from the corner of my lips. Liam, standing by, impatiently said, if she tells you to drink, then drink. If not, then get out. Looking at his distorted and agitated face, I chuckled softly. Then, in front of all the employees, I pulled out the resignation letter I had prepared that morning. I won't drink, and you don't need to tell me to get out. Starting today, I officially resign. The employees gasped, beginning to whisper amongst themselves, "Oh my God, I thought Ms. Grace would apologize to Chloe like before. Chloe must be so happy now. That other woman actually won. No, don't go, Ms. Grace. Chloe is useless. If she takes over, won't the company be ruined?" Their voices were not loud, not soft, just enough to reach our ears. I saw Liam and Chloe's faces instantly flush red, especially Chloe, who looked so wronged, as if tears would fall any second. Seeing this, Liam angry. Ly slammed his hand on the table. "Are you all finished? Everyone, get out." The moment his words fell, the employees quickly packed their things and left the scene. Even, who still wanted to add fuel to the fire, reluctantly walked out under Liam's stern gaze. Now, in the spacious hall, only the two of us remained. Liam's breathing was unsteady. After a long silence, he slowly spoke. "Grace, if you're trying to use such a childish ploy to make me stay, then you've succeeded." My eyebrow twitched. I looked at him with a puzzled expression. He scoffed, a knowing look in his eyes mixed with a joy I couldn't fathom. "You say you want a divorce today, but then you couldn't stand seeing me throw Chloe a promotion party, so you came running over. You purposely made a scene about resigning, but actually, you're just jealous of her, aren't you?" I took a deep breath, wanting to crack open Liam's thick skull and see what garbage was inside. Little did I expect, Liam took this as a sign that he had seen through my thoughts, that I was flustered at being exposed. Liam triumphantly caressed my face, slowly stroking it. "Grace, I didn't expect you to use such a novel tactic as playing hard to get with me. Alright, I admit, I did fool around with Chloe a couple of times, but you need to know, you were always my only wife. She's just a fling, just for fun. I'm happy that you're jealous for me, but you went a bit too far today. I don't like you using resignation as a threat." I sighed deeply. Liam was clearly possessed. But his nonsensical ramblings no longer affected me. I stepped back, distancing myself from his approach. While stood there, I pulled out the second document from my pocket. The divorce papers. Liam's eyes widened, his body stiff. I ignored him, saying emotionlessly, "Considering our 10 years together, I've already given you the most consideration by not saying this to your face. Liam, I'm not playing any games with you, nor do I care to be involved in your relationship with Chloe. My purpose for coming here has always been one thing only. Sign the papers, and let's get divorced." My serious, resolute, and uncompromising attitude made Liam unsteady. He gripped the table tightly, his gaze fixed on my face, searching for any hint that I was lying. But he was disappointed. I was very serious. The person who once endured everything, who couldn't be cursed or beaten away, had suddenly grown wings and was about to leave him. This sudden change was something Liam simply could not accept. He had only one thought in his mind: how could someone who loved him so much not want him anymore? After a long while, he suddenly reached out, grabbing my wrist, his voice tinged with panic. "Grace, you need to think carefully. If you leave me, you'll have nothing. The house, the cars, and the company. You won't get anything." I smiled faintly, a weary smile, and forcefully pulled my wrist free. "I've thought it through very clearly. Even if I leave with nothing, I want a divorce and to leave you." I placed the papers in front of him again. "Sign them. Let's not make this ugly in the end." I straightened my sleeves, ready to wait for him outside the door, but unexpectedly, as soon as I turned, Liam suddenly lunged. He wrapped his arms tightly around me, his voice trembling with unprecedented panic. "No. Wife, don't go." I paused, not understanding what stunt he was pulling now. Liam's voice quivered, filled with deep regret. "I don't want a divorce. I don't want you to leave. I'll have Chloe resign right now. I'll never see her again. Wife, we have 10 years of history. How can you just throw it all away? Don't you love me anymore? You clearly loved me the most." I said nothing, just slowly, little by little, pulled his hands away. I had heard such familiar words before. That was when he first took a special interest in an intern. I found a packet of instant coffee in Liam's bag. Neither he nor I were tolerant of caffeine. We never bought it. After some questioning, I learned he had bought it for Chloe. I remembered Liam frantically explaining that he had just seen Chloe dozing off at work and had picked it up for her when he went to buy breakfast. Noticing my displeasure, Liam even playfully poked my face. "Why is my darling being so jealous? You're too cute. Don't worry, I love you the most, most, most. You have to remember, we're husband and wife, and nothing can come between us. It really was just an impulse. If you're unhappy, then I'll just have HR let her go. We're husband and wife, that phrase was always what worked best on me. So, I believed it was just a moment of kindness, and I let Chloe continue her internship. But later, we stopped feeling like husband and wife. I turned around, seeing his instant tears, seemingly genuinely regretting. But my heart felt not a ripple. I called his name, Liam. His eyes lit up, only to hear me continue, I don't love you anymore. Liam's lips trembled, unable to make a sound. Only silent tears streamed down his face. Liam screamed in despair, I don't believe it. 10 years of history. How could you? I interrupted him, the moment you cheated. Those 10 years of history became meaningless. I met his gaze. When you cheated with Chloe, did you think about our 10 years? If you still care about our past, then sign the papers now, and let's part ways amicably. Liam, I don't want things to get too ugly in the end. I no longer looked at him, my steps unwavering, and I left completely. Liam didn't stop me, but as I stepped out of the hall, he collapsed heavily to the floor, trembling and weeping. I found a new place and settled in before starting my new job. My new boss was an old friend who had persistently tried to recruit me for 4 years. He even chose to collaborate with Liam's company for my sake, even when there were better partners available. Now, he had finally gotten what he wanted. For 2 consecutive months, I lived comfortably and freely. Not needing to go out for business meetings every day made me feel much more energetic. Except for Liam's sporadic harassment during these months. Suddenly, a text saying he missed me. And many photos of him and me from years ago. Occasionally, seeing these photos would plunge me into memories, a moment of disorientation. But after I regained clarity, I would calmly delete the records. Since we agreed to say goodbye, why add unnecessary trouble? Another month later, the company sent me to negotiate a business deal. I gladly agreed, but unexpectedly, the other party was Liam. His face was gaunt, looking quite haggard, but when he saw me, he smiled. I finally get to see you. I calmly took out the contract, treating him like a stranger I had just met, polite and distant. Liam didn't look at the contract, only stubbornly at me. Can't we even talk now? It's been 3 months, I've missed you. I was silent for a moment, then asked, I still haven't received the divorce papers. If you've signed them, please mail them to me. Liam frantically shook his head. He stood up, reaching for my hand, and just as he was about to touch me, the conference room door opened. It was Chloe. She glanced at Liam with resentment, then glared at me with hostility. Liam's face was displeased. Chloe, didn't you see I was talking business? You walked in without knocking. Don't you understand matters? Hearing this, both Chloe and I froze. Chloe looked wronged, but I almost laughed aloud. The karma had finally come back to bite her. Chloe bit her lip and apologized to Liam in a low voice. Liam, I'm sorry, I was just too anxious. Liam glanced at me in a panic, then quickly scolded her. Chloe, don't Liam me in the company. Is this your home? Call me Mr. Liam. Chloe was so yelled that she almost cried, but she still said in a trembling voice, like a pitiful white rabbit, Mr. Liam, I just came to get the documents Ms. Grace took 3 months ago. That project has been delayed for 3 months, and they've already sent someone to rush us. I was surprised. What documents? I didn't take any documents. If it's the proposal from before I left, it's all in my office. Didn't you see it when you went in? Chloe bit her lip after hearing that, looking at Liam with resentment. I looked at Liam in confusion. He pursed his lips, looking back at me with reluctance. After you left, I didn't let Chloe go into your office, no one did. That office has been sealed by me. I instantly understood why Chloe was so resentful, but this belated affection from Liam seemed completely unnecessary to me. My heart felt no warmth. I only found it laughable that he wanted to keep me but also couldn't bear for Chloe to leave. Just as I was about to leave and not get involved with the two of them, Chloe stopped me. Ms. Grace, since this proposal was written by you, why don't you handle the liaison yourself? I initially wanted to refuse, but Liam, for some unknown reason, chimed in with Chloe, consider this our last collaboration. Will you sign this document with me one last time? I lightly frowned. Fine, but I have a condition. After this contract, you must immediately sign the divorce papers. Liam hesitated for a long time, but for the sake of the project, he nodded. I knew the project proposal by heart, so when Chloe handed me the proposal on a USB drive, I inserted it into the computer without thinking. But the moment the projector screen lit up, dozens of people in the conference room heard a loud and intense sound. Liam. Between me and that old woman, Grace, who do you like more? I instantly turned my head, only to see that the screen, which should have displayed the PowerPoint presentation, had suddenly turned into a passionate scene between Liam and Chloe. Liam's face brightened, and he responded loudly, "My darling. Of course it's you. How could that useless woman ever compare to you? I've even started sleeping in separate rooms from her. For you." I pulled the plug as fast as I could, but everything, visible and unavoidable, had already been seen. Liam sat stunned in his chair, as if he'd lost his soul. All the business partners present, their faces alight with gossip, glanced back and forth. Before I could even speak, Chloe stood up and preemptively questioned, "Grace, you're despicable. How could you use such dirty tactics just to divorce Mr. Liam? I know you're jealous that Mr. Liam found you unattractive as you've aged. But you can't use such vile tactics to ruin Mr. Liam and me. How am I, a young woman, supposed to face anyone after this? Do you know how much gossip and rumors I'll have to endure?" Liam belatedly lifted his head, his eyes filled with condemnation and disappointment as he looked at me. "Grace, how could you do this to me?" And here I was, still wanting to repair our relationship. Why? Why are you taking revenge on me like this? Chloe tenderly embraced Liam. "Liam, don't you understand? Grace is just such a vile person. She's jealous of us, she can't stand to see us happy together. She wants to destroy us." After hearing this, all the business partners present had judgmental and scornful gazes continuously sweeping over me. I heard Mr. Liam and her had a decade-long relationship. Who knew a divorce could turn into such a spectacle? This woman is truly heartless, using such tactics against her own husband. She's truly vindictive. If I still couldn't see that this was Chloe's setup, then I truly would be a complete fool. I calmly adjusted my sleeves and countered Chloe, so eager. "Are you afraid Liam and I might rekindle our old feelings and delay your plans to become the other woman?" Chloe's eyes flickered, but she still stubbornly tried to argue. "Grace, don't project your dirty thoughts onto Liam and me. That project proposal has been in your office for 3 months. No one else had access to it." I let out a scoff, sighing at her foolishness, long before the Vice renovation, Liam and I, to prevent corporate spies from other companies from infiltrating and damaging project data, each installed hidden cameras in our respective offices. Liam said that after I left, the office was sealed off, and I assume it hasn't been renovated since. My phone just happens to still be connected to the office cameras. Don't you think if I rewind 10 minutes, I might see what you secretly did? Chloe's face instantly went pale, and she rushed forward to snatch the phone. But before I could even react, a quick-thinking security guard nearby had already pinned her to the ground. At this point, there was no need to even check the phone. Everyone present was shrewd enough to immediately understand that this was all Chloe's self-orchestrated scheme. Liam, his eyes red-rimmed, rushed to Chloe and slapped her 7 or 8 times. "Bitch! How dare you scheme against me? I'll kill you." Chloe's face was swollen beyond recognition from the slaps, and she couldn't utter a single coherent word. She was finally screaming as the security guards threw her out of the company, and she would also face claims to compensate Liam for the project funds he lost. Everyone dispersed quickly after watching the spectacle, but as I was leaving, Liam grabbed my hand. His eyes were moist, filled with guilt. "I'm sorry that I, because of that bitch Chloe, did this to you." "Enough." I cut him off. "There's no need for any more words. What's past is past. I hope you honor your promise and sign the papers." Liam weakly let go of me. He knew in his heart that we were truly over. I returned to the company and accepted an overseas laboratory construction project, set for 3 years. 3 years later, I made a triumphant return home, only to be approached by a lawyer. The lawyer said Liam had transferred all his initial shares in the company to me and left me a letter. It was then that I learned that not long after I left, Liam developed liver cancer due to heavy drinking every day, ruining his body. Not only did he not actively seek treatment, but he grew even more despondent. After another drunk driving incident, he got into a car accident and was paralyzed from the waist down. Liam ultimately decided to undergo euthanasia. This was the will he had drawn up before his surgery. I slowly opened it. There were only 6 words. "I'm sorry, I love you. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.